Well, I've been working on the railroad again. Not really. I just had this unit, and I thought I would. I looked it over and realized that it's all there. It's all complete. What if it ran? I don't know. So I brought it over here and I put the tender on my little test stand. I hooked it up to my vintage Flyer transformer. And what in the world do you think happened? Are you seeing this? Are you seeing what I'm seeing? This is crazy. This is crazy. I've never had one of these work, especially that didn't leak. And by golly, there you go. That's remarkable. That is remarkable. I'm going to make some adjustments and come back to this. Okay, here we are with the late 40s Hudson 321 by American Flyer. And yesterday I sat this down and it started. Amazing. I had to move the little switch over. I don't know if you can see that switch right there, that silver there. If I move it over like that and it's touching that knob, then that connects the track power to this motor. I also had to move the wheels a little bit because the wheels are probably dirty to get a good contact. And the engine, the little motor started to spin. It turned this gear, which pushed this piston in and out and heated up these coils, and that created a plume of smoke out of this outlet right here. Amazing, right? Quite amazing. So I hooked up these pins to the motor and found that the motor wasn't turning. And then I thought, what if I looked at the motor, 2 pins, that normally would say DC. I suppose they could have taken it apart. I noticed when I looked in the top, the reverse unit is missing, MIA. When the reverse unit is missing, you have no way to control the reverse. So I'm thinking maybe they rewired, took out the reverse, rewired it, and made, this is a universal motor. It can run AC or DC, so maybe they made the engine run on DC. So then I got a rectifier out of one of my bags of tricks, and I hooked track power up to it, and through the rectifier it converts AC to DC. It takes the AC signal, which is a wave like this, and it clips half of it off, so you just get DC. And I ran DC to the engine thinking, well, let's see what happens. First time, I could not believe it. There's a little bit of a grind. It probably just needs cleaning and lubing, but look at that. It's running. And it has a headlight. Holy moly. So it's running with a headlight, and it has a little bit of an oil smell, but not too bad. So now I'm wondering, well, I wonder if they can run both. If I flip the switch back on, can I get both? Ah! Okay. Now I have smoke chuffing and the engine running with the rectifier. Now I'm thinking I need to connect these two. I might have a piece of tubing I could use to do that. And I'm wondering if I ran this motor off DC, could I just run the whole thing off of DC and not have any reverse? And maybe that's how this engine was modified to operate DC to the track, and the switch for reverse was back here, and it was one engine at a time. Wow, that's pretty amazing. It's pulling some amps, so I have to say, if I crank it up, it goes up to 2 1/4, almost, yeah, 2 1/4, 15 volt, 14 volts. So it's using some energy. These are not the most effective engines, okay? But it smokes. It's amazing. It's got some leaks too. It smokes and it runs. And it has a headlight. Oh boy, this is pretty exciting. This engine hasn't run for a long time. No date stamp that I can see. That's pretty dirty. 321. Alright, well, I'll continue to work on this. I'm going to see if I can get it to run on DC only. First run, second run, smoke in boiler. First run, engine on DC. Amazing. We also want to capture how that's wired to say if you wanted to do DC in the future, that's how you could do it. Very interesting. Okay, bye. All right, here we are, back again. I just taped up some shrink tubing, only I didn't shrink it. I know it's not elegant, but yeah, it seems to do the trick. I took all the track power to the rectifier, and then I've tapped off for the track and for the engine power DC voltage, thinking that this should run on DC, that should run on DC. That's a universal motor. Let's see what happens. What do you think? It's thinking about it, but it's not happy. Oh, it's not enough power, little resistance, not enough power. Okay, so I'm running DC. I got a leaker. If I squeeze it, smoke is coming out the front. Not much, but some. I got leaks everywhere. But the idea is smoke is coming out the front. The engines are turning, the wheels are turning. This motor inside is running on DC. This motor's running on DC, so this runs on DC, and we have a headlight. Now we're actually going backwards. Okay, so if I stop it and I make an adjustment, let's see if I can make that adjustment. I don't know if this does it or not. I kind of forget how this is. Now, I'm still going backwards. Okay, so we're going to have to make a different adjustment. All right. Now we'll make that adjustment. It's still going backwards. Isn't that funny? Ah, still going backwards. Oh, I know. I am half asleep. I need more coffee. I'll make a third adjustment, and then I'll tell you what I did so you don't think I'm losing my mind, although probably I am. Oh, I can't see very well. My eyes are so bad. That's what happens when you get old. You can't see. Okay, and then one more I need to clip on. Okay, now! Oh, now I've done it. All right. Don't get so smarty-alecky here. Let's try it. One more time. To there. To there. There we go. Now it's going forward, and this is chuffing, and we're going to get some smoke once it builds up some heat. What I did was I reversed the motor wiring from the positive and negative on the output of the rectifier. That's how you change directions. So what you would need is a two-way switch that you could toggle that would take the positive and negative to one side or to the other side, and you could switch it that way. And there is smoke. If I crank it up, it gets a little more vigorous. We got a massive leak over here. See, if I patch up the leaks, it'll smoke better. Amazing. So DC, it was converted to run on DC. The pipe was sort of glued on. This thing pulled loose. And it probably was in a bad wreck. I say the notion of a bad wreck because this has been pulled out of swedged pins that are in there for retaining that guy. And you can see there's marks there where somebody was trying to repair it and just couldn't, and probably gave up and put it on the shelf. And you also you have a lot of paint missing in places, but all in all, you know, the axles are not loose. I mean, it's been used, but it hasn't really been worn out yet. It's been greased, it's greasy, so it's been around a while. The brushes don't look too bad a shape. The motor is an open frame motor, which means it's not going to have a ton of power. But you know, there's things you can do. You can get in a Pullmore armature. This is the older style armature. It's a little lower on power. The Pullmores have less gap, so the armature plates are wider, and so you have more pull. Pulls more. Haha. Also, they have rubber on these wheels for more traction. Once you power up the motor, these things will spin with a heavy load, or going up a ramp up the thingies, probably part of the problem. Looking in there, I see colored wire, which is always annoying. You're not sure what was factory and what wasn't. Oh, look, brass pins. These brass pins, from what I understand, were used to make a connection to operate an accessory when the engine was there. When the engine came to a certain spot in the track, these pins would connect energy to an accessory like a water tank or something like that, and it would activate it. Pretty cool. So being a brass pin means this is an old engine, okay? It's got the spring, it's got the solid cast front truck. Truck's loose, that's always the case. It's a 321. I don't have a book. I do, but I don't know where it is. That tells me the years. Steam and tender is old. So I have got some homework to do on this engine before I go too far. Do I want to replace the reverse? Do I want to continue just to clean it up and make it work? I'm not sure. I'm not sure where I want to go with this. It's pretty dirty. I guess cleaning it would help, but all this paint needs to be touched up. That's kind of sad. You know, dirt's one thing, but when the paint's worn, there's not a lot you can do about it. I'll think over what I want to do. I definitely would want to sell it to somebody who needs or wants a steam and tender, because this steam and tender is complete. You don't have to do a thing. It actually works. It's amazing. I'll probably clean the motor, clean the armature, make sure it's running as low a friction and as best as it can, and then tidy up these leaks, see where the leaks are, what's causing them, and fix that, get the correct tubing to run, and then determine if I'm going to do a reverse, what I'm going to do. I probably should put a reverse in here, then you could run it better. At any rate, there it is, first run, Hudson 321. I can't see a date on here. I will get a flashlight and try to see if, before I take the engine apart, I'll see if I can't get a date, but I can't really right here. Okay, that'll do it. That's 3 parts, tender and engine, and then upright with smoke. Pretty cool. Not too shabby. First run, late 40s Hudson. There you go. Okay, now that we figured out what we have, I've taken the rectifier, put it to the track. So I'm running DC from AC to the track. Then I've connected the pins to the engine as it appears like it would have run. And I've left my little tape in place, although it's not holding up very well. And I thought I'd give it a shot. So now, through the track power, this motor is running on DC. Through the same track power, this motor is running on DC. And the DC is coming through this rectifier from the transformer, which is AC. So I don't really have a method of sending this out. It looks like my stuff is not working. So we'll get back to that. We'll figure it out. But you can see it is smoking. It's running. We have a headlight. It's just amazing. This old bugger is just works. And it's noisy, but by golly, I'm shocked. I got this in a bag, and it was like, oh my goodness, what am I doing? And I thought, well, there's nothing else. I can do something for parts. But now, I don't know. It looks like I've got an engine. It looks like I have a complete Hudson steam and boiler. It's missing the reverse. But I mean, tear it apart, clean it, put it back together, check the brushes, make sure everything is lubed, and try to scrub it up as much as you can. Maybe a little touch up on the paint here and there, but hey, it's an original. Got to be something. 321. I'll have to check the year and see what year it is. It's late 40s, I'm pretty sure. It's Link. I do have some nice Link cars I could put on this thing. Could be a runner. Okay, well, I watched my videos. I realized I didn't show you the damn thing running upright and with everything connected, so I thought I should go ahead and try that. And sure enough, it does do what we thought it would, and there it is. Okay, more later. I have other engines that I need to test for the first time, so I'll be back. Well, I continue to explore this Hudson. I did disassemble it enough to get this stinky tube out of here and see what's going on. Somehow they've loosened this. Usually on mine it's really, really tight. The other disappointment is there is no date stamp that I can see. It's scratched and marked, and you can see a little copper up there, so something has been going on. But these pieces here that hold the end of the chassis end, they're intact, and that's a good thing. The linkage is all there. You can see it's had some kinks over its lifetime, so it's been around. It's probably been dropped a few times, but it's all there. It's not coming apart. It's really loose. The screws are not all the same. I think something's going on with that. I'll show you some others here in a minute. But in general, it's complete. The hard part was the drawbar being pulled out. But if the stakes are still there, there should be a good chance we can figure that out. Now the engine has an interesting stamp. 9872-3. It's upside down, okay, but it says 89723. I don't know what that means. It's a very clearly written number. Someone was very neat in doing that. Also, you get to see these cavities. I'll roll it over. You see the cavity between the wheel, and you see that brass pin down there. That's the brass pins they talk about. And look, there's a hole there and a hole there. So, and there's a cavity in front of this wheel right there. So there may have been mechanism that went in there that did something. I don't know, spring something to keep those down. I know they were used. I'm not sure how or why. But something else that worries me is these screws are not accurate. Look at that. They're slotted. Focus, dog. There it is. They're slotted, and they look like they've been around a few times. I don't know. I don't care for them. And these screws were in super tight, so he must have had trouble with it falling apart. Well, the main reason I got it apart was I wanted to look at this wiring and try to figure out what was he trying to do. As soon as I got it apart, look what I found. This is a rectifier. You take AC in the middle, and out on the outer sides you get a positive and negative DC. Very good. So he did put a rectifier in here. I wired it up standard as I would, and I fired it up, and smoke, but the engine was still in lockup as if it was running AC. As I look at the wiring diagram that I created, you'll see there we go. AC comes in here. Yeah, are we going? Yeah, there we go. AC is coming in here, and it runs over to the light. And then we have the AC line here, and it runs over to the light. So the light's running on AC, and that makes sense. As soon as I turn it on, light comes on. That's great. But what confuses me is here, he's got a wire right here that runs from the AC to one of the, whatever those are called. Oh my God. Getting old, huh? Forgive me. I don't know what it is. These are fields. Brushes. Brushes. Running over to brush number 2 is AC. Well, that's odd. Then I track, okay, so how is this working? How is this supposed to get power? And I'm watching this come through here, and it goes to that brush. Then maybe he's thinking that brush crosses over here and goes here, and then it comes out but wait, that's AC. AC coming in, AC coming in, okay, AC coming in, AC through the brushes, AC back. Okay, so this is AC, the brushes are on AC. Then he's pulling the fields off right here, big thick, big insulated wire. The fields are off in DC. So he's got the fields running in DC, and the brushes running in AC. Now, I'm not sure, but I don't think that's how you would do it. When I do my conversions, I don't put the rectifier here. I put it over here, and I'm running track into this way back here, in front of the old school vintage reverse unit, in front of it. And then I run DC through everything, through the fields, the brushes, the reverse switch. Everything is just DC. It figures that out, even the lamp. So what I'm thinking, I was getting ready to draw another diagram of what I was going to do. What I think I'm going to do, I think I'm going to take this AC wire off right here at this pin, and I'm going to continue to have the AC run through here like it does. I'm going to have the AC going through the light bulb, period. So it's going to run here and it's going to run here. That's it. Then I'm going to bring DC off the ends, and I'm just going to loop it here to here and here to here and get rid of that. So they're both on DC. I'm going to move this wire from there to there. No, I have to move this wire also. See? Yeah, I'd have to bring this. This has to come here, not there. This has to go to there, not there. And then maybe, yeah, and then that comes off and goes here. Then maybe we have a chance. So I don't know if I want to move these wires around, but I can tell you the way it's wired now, it's not working. So I can't make it any worse, and I can't blow it up. So I think I'm going to try to do that. Move this around and get this to work at least one direction the way he thought he had it. We'll see. Okay, well, I did it. I made the cuts and jumps, as we used to call it. I cut this brush off of the AC and put a jumper on it and brought it over to the DC output. I cut this brush off of the AC and brought it over to this DC output here. Let's slide it over a little more so it's not touching that center post. There we go. That's a little better. And I jumpered this AC inlet to this part of the light bulb. This is the other AC inlet coming from here. So the AC is running down these two wires all the way to the light bulb. It's running down these two wires all the way to the light bulb. From the light bulb, I'm pulling it into the AC side of the rectifier. From the rectifier, I have two leads coming out. One to a field and one to a brush. One to a field, one to a brush. That's it. Okay? Everything's the same. Everything's the same. Now, the motor's running and it's making a growling, and this guy is not running. Maybe it's just old age. There he goes. Old age. He's running. He's growling like crazy, but I also noticed he's not running as near a speed as he was. I'm not sure what that's all about. And oh, the light bulb is unscrewed. Maybe that'll help. I don't know. Light bulb came loose. No, it's still not running as fast as I thought it should. So what I may do is bring that power signal in directly, and where I can just shut this off, right? I have master control. I don't get my fingers caught in the middle of the damn thing. Oh yeah, it seemed to pick up a little bit. Seemed to. But it's still not. Oh shit, it's maxed out. Did you see the amps? Way over 3 amps. Warm too. Bulb's still on. Okay. So I may not have it wired the smart way, but it's a way, okay? I'll think this over. I'm going to go through my notes again and see how that needs to be wired. If there's a better way to keep the drawdown. Maybe I need to flip them, I don't know. But at least we're able to make the motor work. Before it was just vibrating like a, I don't know what. In any case, there we are. Progress, not perfect, but on the other hand, I'm not sure I like this at all. Oh, this is hot as hell too. Maybe it's not the right capacity. I don't know. I have bigger ones. I could try it. I could try my Big Mama over here. Anyway, a little progress. At least I now understand why it wasn't running and why it probably ended up here. We still have smoke. We still have chuff. We still have the motor. We still have the headlight. I just need to think through, what do I want to do here? What do I want to do with this thing? I think what I'm going to have to do right now is just bag it and come back to it when I have more time, because I have other fish to fry. Also, the fact that I'm running hot and I'm way over 3 amps worries me. The fields are real warm. I don't like that. So let's think this over and see what we got. Maybe I should just convert this to DC and see what happens. Well, all right. There's the update. Yeah, whatever it was doing, it was wired wrong. I'm still not sure I have it wired right, but we at least got it to rotate. But it's overheating a little bit. First start, we're certainly not putting it on the rails. We're not going down the road, so we're not done. Okay, I think we've done something. I can't remember what I videoed. I've only been doing this for an hour, and I can't remember for an hour what the hell I've been doing. We're using the same rectifier, but what I've done is I've wired it through the fields and then through the brushes in series. So it goes through the fields, comes out and goes through the brushes, then it comes back and goes to the other output side of the DC. So the DC current has one path, not multiples in parallel. what happens is it runs pretty good, pretty responsive. Still has a growl on it, doesn't it? But it's not pegging the amp meter for one thing. So you can see looks like 1.25 amps is not too bad at 15 volts. So it's cranking along. When I set it down, it goes up a little bit. So I might be getting a little bit of drag on that wheel, rubbing on the wood. That may be part of the noise. Anyway. And the light bulb is out of the sequence. I just unplugged it, but it's not in anyway. So I don't know if that takes off, but I don't think so. In any case, it will run. This is how you run it. Now, if I wanted to, I could go backwards and plug the thing in and do that, but let it go for now. And I will put this in a bag and put it in a box, and I'll think about it. I've got several of these, and I have a couple of other Hudsons that I'm working on or could work on. So I got plenty of use for the parts. I just don't know what direction I want to go. Steve Blackburn tells me it's a 47, which is kind of neat because that's 2 years older than me. That is the year of my first car, so that's kind of sentimental value, but not a lot. Okay, so we're going to call it quits, bag it, tag it, and get back to it when I can. You never know what it's going to end up looking like someday. Okay, bye guys.